The views expressed on the Jerry Cahill CF podcast are that of Jerry Cahill and guests, and not necessarily those of the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Nothing on the Jerry Cahill CF podcast should be considered medical advice. Such advice can only be given by a physician who is experienced with cystic fibrosis. The Boomer Esiason Foundation, Jerry Cahill and guests cannot be held responsible for any damage which may result from using the information on this podcast without the permission of your medical doctor. You're listening to the Jerry Cahill CF podcast presented by the Boomer Esiason Foundation and jerrycahill.com.
Welcome to Jerry Cahill's Living, Breathing, Succeeding podcast series. This show, Manage Your Life with CF as a Teenager, Part 1, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from Gilead to the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Today you will meet Colin Randles, 17 years old from Ocean City, New Jersey. Colin did a podcast with me 6 years ago, and we thought it would be fun to check in and see where he is at in life these days. Colin is a junior honors student at Ocean City High School. He recently got his driver's license and picked up golfing. Colin is a member of the junior varsity basketball team as well as the Ocean City crew team. Colin was hospitalized in August 2019 for the first time in 4 years.
Hi, I'm Colin. I'm 17 years old. I'm a junior in high school. I grew up in Ocean City, New Jersey. I go to Ocean City High School. I row crew, play basketball, and hang out with friends. I go to the beach on my off days. I have a brother named Sean with cystic fibrosis, and I have a stepbrother named Gunnar. My relationship with my brother Sean with cystic fibrosis is very tight. We're very close to each other. Some days not. We do basically everything together. We do play sports together, just not on the same team. He's going to be a sophomore in high school, and I'm going to be a junior, so two different teams. I got involved in sports at a very young age when I was first introduced to them, playing in the front yard, basketball, baseball, any kind of sport, and I just continued playing them. My top sports are the only two I play, crew and basketball. Crew is a very good workout. It is so tiring, and it's probably the best sport for CF. Crew can help greatly with your breathing because of all the activity that you're doing, with all the pulling and just the fast motion of the sport. Having a brother with cystic fibrosis by our side all the time is always there, and emotional support if you ever need him. It's always good for hospital visits. He's always there with you. Anything you need to talk about CF, he's always there to talk about. I realize that having CF is showing us that we are very different from people.
And how are you different?
Their daily lives and our daily lives are something totally different. We have to wake up and do a treatment, and they can wake up and just go start their day. My medicine routine is I wake up in the morning, I do a 40-minute vest, and then after that I would do an inhaler. I would eat breakfast and take my morning meds, go on with my day, hang out with friends, do sports, and then at night I would come home, eat dinner, and then take my nighttime meds. At night, I do a feeding tube for extra nutrition and to keep my calories up. I've had a feeding tube for 5 years. I used to do it for 7 hours, and I switched over to a quick feed for 1 hour. Having a feeding tube with sports, the only time they notice is either when it's coming through the shirt or when we're doing shirts for skins for basketball, they would see it then. They say, "What's that?" I say, "I was at a very low weight when I was younger. I got this put in, and I've gained over 70 pounds ever since." Whenever somebody sees my button, I feel special because I feel like I'm more than what they are, and I overcome fear when I show them because they've never seen it before, and I don't want some people to notice what it is and have a bad thought of it. And it's changed my life and health very big since I've got it put in. Over 5 years with the feeding tube, I've gained over 70 pounds. Last time I was hospitalized was 11 months ago, August 2019, for a respiratory infection. In the hospital, I play video games and play on my phone. I do 4 treatments a day. I have doctors coming in and out, giving us our medication. Going into the hospital is a very eye-opening experience. It's better to have your sibling with you because you're more entertained and you have more things to do. And if you're by yourself, you feel very lonely. Here, when I'm not with him, I don't feel lonely because I have my things that I can do. And then when I'm in the hospital, I feel lonely when I'm not with him because we can't really go into each other's rooms. When my brother is in the hospital, I feel very scared. I also can't go visit him, which makes it worse. I can always FaceTime him and play video games, but not being there with him makes it worse. In school, I do not struggle due to CF. I'm like every other kid, and I just go on with my school days. I am a 4.1 GPA and all A's.
Are you really?
Yeah. My teachers and coaches know that I have CF due to the email sent out to them in the beginning of the year that I either have to leave to go take enzymes or medicine, or I'm just not going to be there due to doctor's appointments. The hardest thing about handling CF in high school is that we have to wake up earlier than other students to do treatments in the morning before we leave for school, and after school we need to do more treatments either in school, in the nurse's office, or at home. Being around my friends when I do treatments is very easy. They all know that I have cystic fibrosis, and they're all welcoming to me doing a vest when they're with me. For me, I feel like having a CF sibling is a more stronger bond because we have many more difficulties to accomplish together than regular siblings.
In 10 years, I probably see my brother playing baseball, but if he doesn't, I'll probably see him being like probably a doctor because he's good with that type of stuff.
Really a doctor? When he came up with a doctor.
The next step for high school for me and my future years is to go into a college for physical therapy and stay in the sports world. I'm planning to go away to school and live in a dorm room and enjoy the college life.
We hope you enjoyed the CF podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on the Boomer Esiason Foundation's YouTube channel so we can keep you up to date on our latest educational programs for the cystic fibrosis community.